and welcome to another edition of Art Success with me, Adelaide Damoah. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you don't watch my videos, then welcome to my channel. For those of you who don't know, I am an artist who really enjoys interviewing other artists about the challenges and achievements of their careers to date, hence this series called Art Success. So today's interview is with a friend and colleague, one of my BBFA sisters called Ayesha Faisal. If you'd like to know more information about the collective, please do click the link in the description bar below. But for now, let's stick to talking about Ayesha. So Ayesha graduated with a degree in graphic fine art from the University of East London in 1999 and has been a practicing artist ever since. And she really started selling work while she was still studying, so you could say she's been practicing for around 20 years. Ayesha is a figurative painter and she makes really very bright and vibrant paintings because she's very interested in the energy vibrations of people, and she also makes really gorgeous leather sculptures. So for now, let's see what Ayesha had to say in the interview. And can you summarise your practice for me, please?
I'm a painter. I paint mostly with acrylics. I produce medium to large scale pieces, and my work is currently focused on energy, vibrations. Yeah, the figure's always featured quite heavily in my work from years. When I first took my first life drawing class, I was just hooked, on the form and how many different ways you could, that we're built as human individuals. The skin tones, the hair, and just everything. So whatever subject matter I'm doing, the figure's always featured in my work. And over the years, my work has developed more to really looking at the non-physical side of our being, and looking at the energy and the emotions and the feeling, and looking at how I can represent that in my work.
You're talking about energy, and the energy that we emit, I guess, as humans.
Yeah.
How do you decide how to represent that in colour? Because obviously you use really very bright, intense colours, but how do you make the decision that, okay, because I'm trying to represent this emotion or this kind of energy, this is the colour that I'm going to go for?
I've really studied the effects of colour and how colour is used. Even sort of when you study design, you're taught about what colours, we associate with certain things and how certain colours make us feel. And I think it's so important because it's, colour in itself is a language. As an artist, for me, it's very important to create the mood and create the feeling and communicate certain things in my paintings. So, depending on what I'm after and what I want to say with that painting will determine what colours I choose to use. One of the things that I've really been looking at as well is I've been reading, and they say that in the same way that they say that certain all the colours and the different variations, they're similar to music. So in the same way that music can affect you listen to music and different notes and vibrations put you in a certain mood. It's the same with art.
Challenge that you've ever had to face to date, and how did you overcome it?
I think the biggest challenge is probably not so much now, but it's a continuous one. How to be able to continue to practice, because with all the other commitments that you have, being an artist, there is a lot of expense involved. There is a lot of time, and in terms of the practicalities as well. At the moment I work, I have a home studio. I had to give up my studio, and there was a period where I wasn't actually able to create. And I think that, to be able to continue to produce, to practice as an artist, to be able to continue to put your work out, in front of people, and to be able to continue to sell, that in itself is an achievement for me, because there's been many periods and times when I thought, how am I going to carry on doing this? It's not something that I've ever thought, there's no way that I will ever not be an artist. It's the challenge is always how to continue to be able to do it, to be able to pay the bills, to be able to make a living out of what you do. So I suppose that is the challenge.
Yeah. But how do you what is it that you think motivates you to just keep going?
I can't imagine not doing anything else, to be honest. I mean, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. If I'm employed at the time, if I'm, you know, whatever it is, it's always takes a second place to my art. That my art is you know, it's part of me. It's part of my being. And I suppose as a creative, you know, we're creatives. You just find a way to do it.
Yeah. As a black female artist, would you say that you've personally experienced any gender or racial bias?
Mm-hmm.
And if you have, how have you moved past it?
I can't actually think of any particular experience of direct racism or direct, but I think for myself, it's more, from what I see, it's a lack of representation. You know, you'll go into spaces and not see yourself represented there, or if you do, maybe there's the one, you know, the one sort of who's managed to sort of to get through, and you know, for years, and you know, it's not something that you can prove. It's not something that you can say, oh well, this because of this, but you get a sense. You think, well, you know, there's not, you know, enough female artists, and not enough black artists, not many, you know, people like me that are represented. And you know, after how many years, or when you continue to see that in certain spaces, you can't help but question that, you know, whether that is a factor.
Okay, so we're both part of the Black British Female Artists Collective, which our friend put in place, mm-hmm. or founded, to address some of the issues that we were just discussing, that you were just talking about. How important do you think a collective like ours is in terms of addressing those things? Do you think that it's something that can be successful?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I do think, you know, the power in itself is in numbers. You know, when there's more in a collective, I think you're more visible than maybe just an artist, you know, by yourself. And not only that, it's, you know, the peer mentor, you know, not the peer, why can I put it, the peer support, you know, and just sort of bouncing ideas off of your contemporaries, and you know, that support as well. As an artist, you know, I'm talking from the perspective of an artist, but I think in terms of visibility, I think that, you know, people, you know, you get more notice when you're part of a collective. So, yeah. In terms of your own personal successes as an artist, what would you say has been your biggest and the one that you're most proud of, and how did you achieve it? I don't know. I can't really say that I feel like I've had a big success. I think, you know, like just being able to get to this point, and I think, I mean, from a technical perspective, you know, when I look at my work now, and I look at my work, I don't know, 20 years ago, you know, work that I thought was really, really fantastic. I look back and think, what the hell, you know? But at the same time, it was still, you know, appreciated. And just seeing my own sort of personal development and my own growth, and, you know, not just the technical, but in terms of the, you know, the subject matter, and, you know, and just how I've matured as an artist, I feel, you know, like, well, you're actually here, you've done it, you know. Sometimes I'll meet people and say, you're still doing the art? And it's like, yeah, it's, you know, it's like, so just, you know, just being able to sort of still be here, still be visible, still being able to create, and, you know, to share my work with the, you know, the wider audience is an achievement for me.
And what does success in the art world mean to you?
I think for me, it's being able to expose my work to the wider audience, because I find that it's not so much about having recognition, you know, or getting the, you know, the nod from certain. It's not about that for me. For me, success is being able to sort of be truthful in my work, and create and continue to create in a way that's honest, and be able to share that.
What would you say is your biggest dream for your work?
Biggest dream, I suppose, is really getting my work recognised internationally. I would want, you know, as many people to see my work and to connect with my work. Yeah.
If you could go back to 1999 when you graduated,
mm-hmm.
and see the girl just coming out of university,
mm-hmm.
what advice would you give to young Ayesha?
To my young self, I would really say I probably would have been more disciplined. I think over the years I've developed and become a lot more business minded you know, in terms of project management to my work. Now I know you're supposed to learn all of that at college, but I think, you know, you're so kind of I was so preoccupied in just, you know, developing as an artist, or just that, I mean, that just seems like such a, you know, a long time away in terms of my own personal growth. I would say, you know, be more disciplined, and, you know, don't neglect the business side of your work, because, you know, if you are constantly sort of worried about keeping a roof over your head, you're constantly worried about, you know, not being able to put food on the table, how on earth can you focus on your art practice? So I think that, you know, if you're wanting to, you know, focus on your art and, you know, make money, you know, from your work, you know, you can't neglect that side of, and, you know, the same way, I think, have a professional approach, because I think that, you know, just because you're artists, and sometimes I think we're given a lot of leeway, and, you know, there's these stereotypes of us being all sort of, you know, like head in the clouds, and but, you know, which, yes, our work is, you know, there is that aspect to what we do, but then there's also the side that when the work is created, and, you know, when you've got shows and you're dealing with people, you have to be, you know, you have to take a professional approach. So that is what I would say. Be a lot more disciplined in terms of, you know, creating the work, you know, making sure that things are done on time, and not neglecting the business side of the practice.
And what if you were speaking to a complete stranger who's graduating now? What advice would you give?
I'll give them the same advice. I'll give them the same advice, but I think, I mean, what I would say maybe to a complete stranger is that, you know, you've got to find your own, you know, everybody has to find what success is to them. You know, for some artists it might be, you know, commercial success. Other artists it might be, you know, getting their works in particular institutions. And I think that, you know, you have to actually define what's important to you as an artist, and then just go full throttle with that.
Hello and welcome back. Thanks very much for joining me for that interview with the lovely Ayesha Faisal, my BBFA sister. That is the Black British Female Artist Collective. If you'd like to know more about our collective, please do click the link below. Also, obviously, if you'd like to know more about Ayesha, the link to her website and her social media channels is also below. Please do subscribe to my channel, because by subscribing you get to keep up to date with all of the latest interviews like this one, and you never know where I'm going to end up. Until next time, take care. Bye.